Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thank everyone for their attendance, and if the minutes can reflect the role of various trustees and staff. I see Mr. Krieger is online. Can you hear us? Tom? You're on mute. We can't hear you yet, Tom. You're on mute.
Unfortunately, you're still muted.
All right, get started. All right, let's move on to item 3, entertain a motion for the approval of the 321 Village Board and file the 216 Park and Rec Board, the 221 Finance Committee, the 222 Plan Commission minutes as presented. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. As always, comments, questions, clarifications on the minutes. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Anybody on the audience wish to be heard on a non-agenda item? Move forward. We have the Tree City documentation that's been passed around, and the business has been presented in the normal fashion. Let's move on to item 6, resolutions, ordinance, action items. Item 1 is report of the Finance Committee, and that's a motion recommended the village board authorize the use of funds from the revolving loan fund account for asphalt paving at Grafton Station not to exceed $10,000 be approved.
I'll second.
Motion is second. This was discussed at finance. Details are in your packet. Any other questions on this one? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item B is a motion to authorize use of funds from the revolving loan fund account for electrical service at the Grafton Station not to exceed $2,500. This was an item that was discussed briefly at finance, and we were going to go ahead and get bids in the context of keeping the project moving along. We're just going to bring it straight to the village board. So Jesse, you want to give us an overview?
That is hitting the nail right on the head. In the context of continuing to move this project forward, we received bids, with the lowest bid from Andy Linnaeus coming in for $2,350 worth of electrical work, whereby Mr. Linnaeus will coordinate with We Energies to reestablish electrical service to the site. That said, as discussed at the Finance Committee meeting, definitely within that range of funds set aside in the revolving loan fund account to be utilized for economic development purposes. This $2,500, not to exceed $2,500 expense would establish an electrical hookup for food truck tenants in the future.
Questions?
Yeah, just a quick look at the plans here, Jessica and Jesse. The electrical would be a little bit closer to where the old Clark building used to be. Are the plans to move it maybe closer between the two proposed food truck trailers?
I discussed the placement of it with Director Thomas, and we felt that the placement on the north lot line, while not too far east, so that we could still provide, if necessary, power to kind of where the seating area will be, while still being able to provide electricity or access for the two food truck parking spaces, parking areas. So we wouldn't want to move too much farther east, again, just to be able to still have access for the seating area.
Okay, thanks. Good information. Appreciate it.
Questions? Lisa?
Jesse, how many other bids were there?
There was one other bid that came in at just over $3,000. So which is great, because the initial estimates, verbal estimates we had gotten were up around the neighborhood of $6,000. So we're very happy with folks coming in and being available too. So, yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion, and we'll give Tom a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Let's move on to item C, and that is for the approval of the right-of-way license agreement with the distillery coming in late summer. So this is not too dissimilar, I would think, than what we had with Atlas. I believe it's
Identical.
Identical.
It's identical.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody, this is basically the outdoor seating that we did with Atlas. Still, we would like to utilize the same type of functionality. Any questions, any thoughts from the applicant?
I think the only thing is, we have another meeting with the park commission in a couple weeks.
Okay.
If we can remove those questions, there might be a couple more tables up there, but we can.
I'll entertain a motion to approve. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Move on to final special assessment resolution for Riverbend Road utility extensions.
Sure, I guess with a 10,000 foot level, Director Thomas can definitely fill in details here, but these are the special assessments to be put in place for the utility extension that was carried out along Riverbend Road to help serve the new subdivision closer towards Port Washington. That said, all project items have been finalized, all cost figures have been finalized with sign off by the town, village, and the contractor. Therefore, we are coming forward with the attached breakdown to establish the special assessments to recover costs associated with the project over time as adjacent properties annex into the village and look to hook onto these established utilities. Very high level breakdown there.
Any surprises, Amber?
No, the final costs were about $15,000 less than what we had in the preliminary assessment, so fairly close overall.
When we'll notice once this is passed?
It's already been noticed, so I've answered a lot of questions in the last week or so.
Okay. This is a resolution, so I'll offer motion a second to approve the final assessment resolution. We have an offer.
Can I take that?
Just get it on. the
Okay.
paperwork. Okay.
I'll move to approve.
Motion, motion second, comments?
Yes.
So can you remind me, Jesse, is this different? Is this agreement different? I know that the village paid for the extension to Riverbend.
Mhm.
So is this development different than other developments where the developer would pay? for the
Yes.
extensions?
It is, because there was a historical agreement dating back, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the particulars of it, but there was a historic document out there whereby the village agreed to extend the utility connections where they had stubbed on Riverbend Road to the east to get to what is now Riverbend Meadows. So there was an agreement out there that bound the village to extend those, which is unique. Correct. Normally, that service would be extended by a developer.
Okay. And do you know if in the past we've ever had anybody from the town choose to take our water versus well?
There are some properties out there, and the name of the subdivision is escaping me, but from what I understand, it was either the wells could not produce enough to serve the homes appropriately, or there was some other environmental reason whereby there's village water provided.
Where we have it is over down where Jack Gasser lives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Black Hill,
Okay, so some people have come into the village that way.
we had to extend one to the town for that reason, because of the contamination.
Okay.
So the DNR made us do that.
Otherwise, the standing rule is if you wish to be served by village utilities, you would have to annex in.
I'll have a motion a second, final questions. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion passes. Department and officer reports, Jesse.
Certainly a few things this evening. Some great redevelopment news. Don't mean to steal Director Wolf's thunder here, but a demolition permit has been issued for the former Senior Lunas site. So the long vacant restaurant building will be coming down in short order to make room for the recently approved townhome project. So that you should see some activity out there in the coming week or so. So that's pretty exciting news. A couple of other items, just some village events coming up. The library's book sale is set up for next Thursday, April 14th. And then our annual Easter egg hunt will be held at Centennial Park this coming Saturday, April 9th. 12:30 for pictures with the Easter Bunny and 1 o'clock for the egg hunt itself. So some good stuff going on here in the village. Just a brief report from my office.
We talked a little bit about major projects for public viewing. I know we talked about the fund. Makes sense to warn after for this project also.
Yes, staff can do that.
Because this is a significant, as it stands right now, it's an eyesore. And I
Sure.
think the final project will be much. and I think
Absolutely.
These are kind of redevelopment projects that I think
Yeah.
look really good as far as the things that we do, and maybe even, the Clark Station, even that to a point. I think anytime that we have a major project.
Sure. Advertise it.
We might as well get it out in front of the public, let them see what we're doing.
The recent posts about the progress made by Farm and Fleet on our social media accounts took off. They were very well received and a lot of reaction for those posts. So to your point, President Brunkwell, absolutely, staff can continue these documentation efforts.
And I do believe Pharma Fleet made a sizable contribution to the flower budget, so we give them a nice thank you. So Amber, Jessica, anything to add? Any questions for Jesse, Amber, or Jessica? All right.
Jesse, I know I saw your note last Friday on the Wednesday presentation at the county board.
Yes.
Is that going to be an extension of Chief Rice's presentation at the last meeting?
This-
He
Sure.
had to end his conversation.
Sure. That I don't know. What I do know is it is it is deliberation by the entire county board on the potential use of ARPA funds for firefighter paramedics throughout the county. This is scheduled for the action to occur. So whether or not Chief Rice will have additional time to speak or any other entities will have time to speak, that I don't know. I don't have any confirmation of that. All I know is it is an action item before the county board on Wednesday, the entire county board on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yep.
And then my other question is, at the plan commission meeting last time, there was discussion about denying the license for the business that it wanted to come in. How is that decision, maybe Mike can answer that, is that decision going to affect any of our present businesses that have any of those types of machines?
Well, that was Salem that request for that
Okay.
condition.
I think that's an excellent point, and I think there is a difference between planning and enforcement. If there's something out there that's illegal that was not approved by the plant commission or village board, then that becomes an enforcement issue. And
Okay.
that should be reported over to the police department.
Okay, so we did what we should have done on our end.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Jesse, do you have a scheduled date for the survey to go out?
I'm looking to go live with that this week. Yep. Absolute worst case scenario, it would be this coming Monday, but I really want to go live with it this week. That said, I need to start making phone calls too to get out with the social groups and my speaking tour, if you will. So, yep.
Chief, I didn't see you back there. Do you have anything to add? Good, okay. All right, let's move on to licenses. Entertain a motion for the approval of issues, the operator's license. There's 3 of them, and their places of employment are listed.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item B is a motion to approve the issuance of a Class B liquor license to Sean Bull, agent, FCH Grafton LLC, doing business as Distillery at 1304 12th Avenue for the period ending June 30th, 2022, subject to the satisfaction of all outstanding financial obligations to the village of Grafton and successfully passing all inspections.
I make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Comments, questions? Are you just holding the license? Is that the point of it?
Yeah, I just don't want to go anywhere.
Makes sense. Okay. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. So
Yeah.
you can almost smell the hamburger. All right, so we're going to item 9 for the bills. Entertain a motion of payment for village expenditures, $131,824.79. Motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. I saw the back and forth. Questions asked and answered. Anything further on the bill? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Item 10, a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
And
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all
All
very
right,
much.
thank you very much. Have a good night, Tom. Take care.
Thanks a lot.